for all of that, cold and flu season is currently gripping the UK, and if you spent weeks and weeks trying to get rid of the virus and it just won't shift, a chilly-looking Dr Sara is that she was just going like this. Ooh, is here to help. It's
From
good to see you,
over-the-counter
Dr.
treatments
Sara.
that actually work to the best home remedies, she's sorting fact from fiction, so you can defeat the lurgy once and for all. So thank you, Dr Sara. Now, what are the most common signs of the symptoms of cold and flu? Because they are very different, aren't they?
Well, the thing is, you know, we've all had a cold. We know that it makes us feel a bit miserable, but we get on with our normal day. They tend to give you the snuffly nose, blocked nose, coughing, sneezing, sore throat, those kind of things. But they're different in, well, I use the acronym SAS. S, the first one, is for severity. Usually a cold is, you know, bad. You're not happy with it, but you can get up and get on with your day. But with the flu, often you can be completely floored. You know, you're spending days in bed.
Can you function with the flu? Like, can you get out of the bed?
I mean, some people can even have the flu and not know about it. But
really?
Yeah, but you know, for a lot of people, they're really floored by it. You know, completely exhausted. You're not going to want to get up and go to work. Then the A is for area. Usually cold. Focuses on the nose and the throat area, whereas the flu can affect the rest of your body. You can even get diarrhea, you know, you get big shakes, muscle aches, things like that. And then the other S is for speed. So a cold tends to come on quite gradually, whereas the flu can come on and hit you pretty quickly within hours.
Because they're not the same virus.
Different viruses. No. So a cold virus is different to the flu virus.
Yeah.
So they just work in very different ways.
Okay.
So that is the main things. SAS. They are the things that you should be looking for to differentiate.
To try and differentiate.
And when they get, like, does the cold sort of disappear relatively quickly after you've after a few days?
They can last for, in some people, it's, you know, a week or a few days, and others it can last for several weeks.
OK, so if you're going to get it, you're going to get it pretty much, right? So how can you do your best to kind of stave it off?
So, number one, vaccinations. You know, if you are eligible for a flu vaccination on the NHS, please do go ahead and get it. So that's pregnant people, people over the age of 65, and those with underlying health conditions. Number two, hand hygiene. Wash your hands with warm, soapy water, 20 seconds. Anytime you're going anywhere near your face, avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. If you've got someone else in the household that does have a cold or a flu, just try and avoid sharing any household items, towels and things like that with them. It is really difficult, but also cleaning, you know, surfaces whenever possible. And if you are that person with the cold or flu, please catch coughs and sneezes in a tissue where possible and wash your hands afterwards.
And how can you boost your immune system? What supplements can we take to make sure our immune system is ready for it?
Well, boosting our immune system is a bit of a misnomer. We can help optimise our immune system. We can't make it work any harder than it is optimally. But the 4 pillars of health are the first place to always look at. So diet, exercise, good sleep, you know, managing stress, because those all inhibit our immune system when they're not functioning well. In terms of diet, if you're having any nutrient deficit, so, you know, if you're a vegan, if you're a vegetarian and you're not getting certain nutrients in, if you're, you know, don't like certain fruits or vegetables, then yes, I think plugging those areas with the right vitamins, particularly zinc, because if you take zinc in the first 24 hours of getting a cold or a flu, then it can help to reduce the severity and duration. Vitamin C, which is an antioxidant, it's easy enough to get in most fruits and vegetables, but if you particularly hate fruits and vegetables, you know, there we go. Omega-3, which is also needed in our immune system, and that's mainly from oily fish, but you can get that from nuts and seeds. And an important one is vitamin D, because that one we don't get a huge amount from our diet, and in the winter, obviously, we're not getting much sun.
I always get a bit confused because I've lost count the amount of times on this show we've either had an expert on who says don't take supplements and then someone coming on trying to sell supplements.
Yeah.
So I always get kind of a bit confused as to what I shouldn't, because my initial reaction is I get enough from what I'm eating, but then I'm not sure I do get enough from what I'm eating.
Okay.
So then I sort of question it.
I am a huge advocate of getting what you can from our diet, because you can also get other nutrients as well as just that one thing that you're trying to get. But if you do know that you know, are either a fussy eater or have...
So vitamin D, for example, should I be taking vitamin D supplements?
A huge amount from your diet. So in the winter, the government suggests that you take it. So between October and March, you take 10 micrograms every day. And that one we should be doing. And if you are the kind of person that's not going out in the daytime, in the summertime as well, then, you know, or you're covered up, then you should be continuing it then as well. So yes, it can be difficult to know whether you are or aren't deficient, but if you're questioning it, you might as well try taking it and seeing what happens.
We know that our GPs are snowed under at the minute, but at what point should you go and see a GP with your symptoms?
Yeah, I would say if symptoms are worsening rather than starting to improve, if you're getting a persistent and high fever, if you're getting any difficulty in breathing, tightness of chest, pain in the chest, if you're already having any underlying health conditions that could make it more complicated, then have a low threshold to seeing your GP then as well.
But, as a doctor, you would surely be wanting people, the first place to go is the pharmacist, right? The first, go and see a chemist. So what kind of over-the-counter stuff should you be looking for?
Yeah, there are things like decongestants, nasal saline rinses, you can get nasal sprays, steroid sprays, and paracetamol, ibuprofen, all of those kind of things to help with muscle aches and pains as well. Your pharmacist is usually the first port of call, and they have such a wealth of knowledge that they'll be able to help you in most of those areas.
Yeah.
Coughs seem to be on the rise. My friend, her cough is not going. I think they're calling it over the 100-day cough or something. Is it classed as whooping cough?
Yeah, so that's known as the whooping cough. So whooping cough is different to these other ones. It's actually caused by a bacteria rather than a virus.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it tends to have quite a characteristic sound to it. So
so gruff, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's so gruff.
It comes in these big bouts of coughs, which are often worse at night time. You can be, coughing so much that you end up vomiting with it, coughing up a big kind of thick mucus. And there's a gasping noise that occurs between the coughs, which is what causes this whoop. And it differentiates itself to your usual coughs. Now, if you have those characteristics, it is worth speaking to your GP about it, because you can get antibiotics to help prevent the spread of that whooping cough to other people.
And lastly, any old wives' tales from back in the day you can help us with?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm a massive fan of honey, lemon, ginger. It's got the vitamin C, it's got ginger for anti-inflammatories, and the honey helps to soothe the throat. Saltwater gargling. You can just try things like ice lollies, ice cubes, just to help soothe the throat. There's loads you can do at home before you even need to go to the pharmacy and spend any money on anything.
Thanks, Dr Sara.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Love it when you're here. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Sara.